He kisses me like nothing's wrong, while his phone lights up with a woman's name I've never seen. His lips are warm and familiar, but his body is tense like he's performing a part in a play he no longer rehearses. The kiss ends soft and brief, and he steps back with a grin that feels borrowed. Then it happens. His phone resting beside his luggage lights up Kelsey. No emoji, no last name, just the name centered like a bullet on the screen. He doesn't see me see it. He turns to unzip his suitcase, talking about how exhausting the trip was, how the dealership presentation ran late, how the hotel messed up his reservation, how the Wi-Fi was so bad he couldn't FaceTime. His voice slides over each excuse with ease, smooth and unbothered. I nod and ask if he's hungry. He says he could eat. I offer to make his favorite lemon pasta with roasted asparagus. I even smile. Inside, my stomach knots. Not from the name, not from suspicion, from certainty. I excuse myself to the bathroom and close the door slowly, silently, like I'm afraid I might wake the truth. I don't cry. I never do when it matters. Instead, I sit on the edge of the tub, turn on the faucet so he hears water running, and replay the image of his phone, glowing with that name. Kelsey. It isn't the name that hurts. It's the confidence with which he kisses me while she's trying to reach him. I return to the kitchen. He's already scrolling through emails at the counter asking if I checked the mail while he was gone. I say yes, and that his copy of Car and Driver arrived. He nods without looking up. There's a small souvenir bag on the table now. It wasn't there a moment ago. Thought you'd like it, he says, still not meeting my eyes. I open it. A silk scarf ivory with dark green trim. Nice? Too nice. I brush my thumb over the label, French. Expensive. Not my style. But he doesn't know that. He bought it for the woman he thinks I am soft, grateful, unsuspecting. I wrap the scarf around my fingers. It's beautiful, I say, and I mean it. The lie is beautiful. Crafted with elegance, folded with precision, timed perfectly with his return. He goes upstairs to shower. I hear the water start. Then the cabinet door opens and closes. He still keeps his cologne in the wrong drawer despite how many times I've reorganized the bathroom. I stay in the kitchen and pour myself a glass of water I won't drink. The clock reads 6:43 p.m. Outside, the sun dips into the edge of the trees. Inside, the house is too clean, too quiet. I feel like a guest in a home I designed. He comes back down in jeans and a t-shirt, hair still damp. Fresh. Like he's washed off the other version of himself. We sit to eat. I ask about the presentations. He says they went well. I ask which hotel he stayed in. He says the Peninsula. Did you like it? Yeah. Classy. I chew slowly. He didn't stay at the Peninsula. He was at the Rose Cliff Resort. I know because I called the Peninsula on the second night, and they said there was no reservation under his name, but I let it go. He tells me the dealership group offered him a bonus, that things are finally looking up, that next quarter could mean big changes. I nod. That's great. The table between us might as well be the Atlantic Ocean. After dinner, he offers to clean up. I say I'll do it. He thanks me, kisses my cheek. That same kiss. I stand at the sink and watch him disappear up the stairs. I don't dry the dishes. I let the water bead on my hands, feeling the silence between droplets. The kind of silence that used to mean comfort. Now it feels like a rehearsal. Once the plates are away and the lights are off, I move to the entryway. His luggage is still there. One bag zipped, one slightly open. I kneel beside it, careful not to shift anything out of place. I don't open it further. I don't need to. I already know what I'll find. But it isn't the tangible that matters anymore. It's the pattern. The way he answers questions that weren't asked. The way he delays his replies when the answer should be instinctive. The way his eyes drift away at the mention of places he never mentions again. The scarf. The kiss the name. 3 notes in a song I've heard before. I head upstairs. He's asleep, breathing evenly. I watch him for a moment long enough to feel nothing. In the morning, I'll ask just one question, and I already know it will break him. Some betrayals don't need shouting. They unfold in gestures rehearsed one too many times. I didn't confront him, not yet. I wanted to see how far his act would go. I'm Mia, 38, a freelance designer from Asheville, North Carolina. That line always sounds strange out loud, but that's what I wrote on the intake form when I started therapy 3 years ago, and it's how I still think of myself: contained, composed, color-coordinated. I've built my life like the rooms I designed, deliberate, soft-edged, full of space to breathe. Lately, though, it's like I've been decorating around a crack in the wall I pretend not to see. Ethan left for his trip on a Tuesday morning. He didn't hug me before he walked out the door, just tossed his monogrammed bag over his shoulder and said back by Saturday, "Don't forget to water the ficus." I hadn't. The ficus is fake. But I nodded anyway. That should have been my first clue. But I think I stopped looking for clues a long time ago. It's exhausting, the constant alertness. The way you twist every gesture into a question, every pause into suspicion. So instead, I watched the taillights of his Lexus curve out of our driveway and fade behind the sycamores. Then I walked back inside and rearranged the bookshelf in our bedroom. Again. Now 2 days after his return, he's humming in the shower like he used to years ago. Carefree. Like nothing's off. I stare at the red notebook on my desk, the one I use to sketch dream layouts for rooms that don't exist. This morning I drew a space without walls, just floating furniture in open air. I don't know what that says about me. I scroll through his social feed. Nothing posted during the trip. Nothing liked. Nothing reshared. Ethan's not the kind of guy who's careful like that unless someone told him to be. The scarf sits on my vanity, folded with the same precision as the lie it came with. I pick it up, let the silk slide between my fingers, then lay it back down. It doesn't smell like him. That bothers me more than I expected. I hear the water stop. Footsteps, closet doors, drawers. He comes down freshly dressed. Button-down shirt, no tie. Weekend casual, but with intention. Heading out, I ask. He nods. Just grabbing a coffee. Want one? I shake my head. I've got tea. He leans down to kiss my forehead, then stops. You okay? Why wouldn't I be? He smiles, but I notice the twitch near his right eye, the one that only shows when he's trying too hard. He leaves. I wait exactly 10 minutes. Then I call Kara. I think I'm ready, I say. To know or to see, she asks. Both. Kara doesn't say I told you so. She never does. That's why I trust her. Back in college, we used to sit under the bleachers after lit class and make up endings to people's lives. Now she's a divorce paralegal who collects stories with real receipts. Come by in an hour, she says. Kara's apartment smells like rosemary and printer ink. She hands me a folder. I hesitate. You don't have to look, she says, but it's worse not knowing. I open it. Inside are 2 printouts. The first is a tagged location post from a friend of a friend, some woman named Tasha Vernon, listed as a creative consultant. She's in a cabana at the Rose Cliff Resort. Ethan is in the background, blurred but unmistakable, holding a champagne flute. The second is a reservation summary, booked under Ethan's name. Room 412, April 9 to 12. 2 guests. I thought he said the peninsula, I whisper. Kara shrugs. Maybe he got confused. I nod slowly. The truth doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is how still I feel. He came back and kissed me, I say, while her name was lighting up his phone. That's because he thought you wouldn't ask, Kara says. I fold the papers and slide them into my bag. I'm not going to confront him yet. Why? Because I want to see how far he'll go to keep lying. Kara raises an eyebrow. You're playing with fire. No. I'm giving it air. At home, he's on the deck sipping coffee like a man who just repainted his guilt in neutral tones. I sit beside him. You know, I say, I've been thinking about switching careers. He glances at me. Really? Yeah. Maybe I'll get into landscape design. Or consulting. Something that requires more travel. He nods like he approves. Could be good for you. I sip my tea. He never asks why I want to change. He never asks anything anymore. His questions dried up the same time his answers got too polished. That night we watch a movie. I don't remember what it's about. I just remember watching him watch me when he thought I wasn't looking. His gaze is calculating. He's trying to figure out if I know. I let him wonder. Before bed, I brush my teeth and stare at my reflection. I don't look angry. I look aware. When I lie down, he reaches for my hand. I let him, but I don't hold back. He falls asleep quickly. I don't. Instead, I whisper a line I wrote once in the margin of my sketchbook. It's not lying if you smile while doing it. It wasn't true then, and it's not true now, but it's what he believes, and that's what makes it dangerous. It's not lying if you smile while doing it. The next time he lies, I'll ask a question he can't answer without telling the truth. The morning feels heavier than it should. The light through the curtains is soft, but it doesn't land on anything warm. It feels filtered, like someone dimmed the world just slightly enough to notice, but not enough to name. Ethan is already downstairs when I wake up. The smell of toast and coffee drifts up through the floor. He's playing the part. Again. I take my time getting dressed. Soft jeans, cotton sweater, no makeup. A neutral costume for a day where I might play a very different role. When I walk into the kitchen, he's at the counter slicing an orange like he's hosting a brunch segment. He looks up and smiles. Morning, he says. You sleep okay? Eventually, he pours me coffee without asking, just the way I like it, cream no sugar. It used to be sweet. Now it feels like a performance. He slides the cup across the counter, thinking about checking out that new design showroom later. Want to come, I blink. You hate those places. He chuckles. Trying to understand your world a little better. That's not what he's trying to do. He's trying to fill the day with alibis. Still, I say, sure. We take his car. I don't say anything when he skips the playlist we used to share. He puts on a podcast, some tech talk about electric vehicle trends. He's pretending to be a man he thinks I still admire. At the showroom, I point out an arched lighting fixture I love. He says it's too aggressive. Like honesty, I say softly. He glances at me. I smile like I didn't say what I just said. Later, we grab lunch. He picks a quiet place, some upscale soup and salad type of cafe. He orders tomato bisque and a kale Caesar. I order nothing. Just tea. The server doesn't blink. When he steps away to take a call, I glance at his phone left on the table. It's locked, of course, but the notification preview is still active. A missed call from Kelsey. I don't flinch. I sip my tea and count how long he stays gone. 5 minutes. Maybe 6. When he returns, I mention nothing, but I hold my teacup tighter than necessary. He talks about a potential trip next month, regional sales meeting, he says. Might be in Scottsdale or Naples. I nod. Don't forget your allergy meds this time. He blinks. Yeah, of course. He didn't bring them this time. I saw them still in the medicine cabinet the day he left. One more thing he didn't think I'd notice. The rest of the day drifts by in slow conversation. He fills it with soft distractions, ask about Kara, compliment my latest Instagram post, mention how his team might be downsizing, subtle hints to draw my sympathy. The air is thick with half-truths. But the crack finally comes that evening. We're in the living room. I'm folding laundry while he watches TV. He's talking about one of his co-workers, some guy named Darren, how Darren almost got caught texting some girl who wasn't his wife. People are reckless, he says. I fold one of his shirts, so reckless I reply. He laughs nervously. I smooth the fabric. Then I fold another. You think it's reckless even if nothing happened, I ask without looking up. He's quiet. I turn and meet his eyes. You know, if someone went on a trip and had drinks with someone, swam in the same pool, but didn't cross a line. He shrugs. That depends on what the line is. Does it? He presses mute on the remote. Where's this coming from? Just asking. A pause. Then, if you're trying to say something, say it. I shake my head. I'm just trying to understand what people call honesty these days. He watches me. There's a flicker of something behind his eyes. Panic, maybe. Or calculation. I think honesty's about intention. He says carefully, even if the behavior says otherwise. I'm not sure what you're getting at. Of course he's not. I fold the last shirt and place it in the basket. I don't touch the one with the resort logo, the one I found buried at the bottom. Not yet. Instead I say, you know what's funny? What I don't think people forget details because they lie. I think they lie because they forget the details they used last time. He says nothing. I walk past him up the stairs and close the bedroom door. Then I sit on the floor with my red notebook and start sketching again. This time the room has walls, but all the doors are locked from the inside. I don't think people forget details because they lie. I think they lie because they forget their details. If he can't keep his stories straight, maybe it's time I write the ending myself. Kara doesn't ask questions when I show up at her place earlier than planned. She just hands me a mug of coffee, dark roast no sugar like always, and moves a stack of legal folders off the couch so I can sit. The apartment is warm with the smell of rosemary again, and something sharp beneath it, printer toner maybe. Her window is cracked open despite the spring chill. I'm not losing it, right? I ask, holding the mug tight between my palms. No, she says without hesitation. You're just starting to notice what he hoped you wouldn't. That doesn't comfort me, but it settles something inside, like snapping a puzzle piece into place you didn't want to admit was missing. I pull out the folded shirt with the Rose Cliff Resort logo. It's been crammed at the bottom of the laundry basket, rolled tight like something he didn't want found. I flatten it on her coffee table. Kara squints at it. Not the Peninsula Nope. She walks over to her laptop. Her fingers move fast. She's not just my friend anymore. She's the friend who has receipts. Within 2 minutes, she's pulled up a link to an event photo gallery. Look familiar? She asks. There he is, background of a group shot. Cocktail in hand, sunglasses perched on his head. It's not a close-up, but it's him. And right beside him, Kelsey. Kara clicks again and zooms. You want me to pull her info? I hesitate. Not yet. Let's see what he gives me next. Later that afternoon, I'm supposed to meet Ethan at a new brunch spot. He suggested it himself, said he wanted to spend more quality time with me. His words, not mine. I get there 10 minutes early. It's one of those glassy cafes that feels like it was designed for photos rather than food. Natural light everywhere, white tile, soft wood. As I wait, I glance around and spot a CCTV dome in the corner. Ethan walks in exactly on time. He looks sharp, but nervous. He always dresses nicer when he feels guilty. Dark blazer, designer sneakers. His cologne hits before his voice does. He leans in for a kiss, and I let it land. I smile like I mean it. We order. He gets eggs Benedict. I ask for coffee only. As we wait, I keep my gaze easy, my voice light. So I say, what did you end up doing that second night? The one where the hotel supposedly messed up the reservation. He lifts his coffee. I found a different spot nearby. Nothing special. Name of the place. He pauses. I don't remember. It was just some roadside thing. That's lie number 3. I nod and sip my coffee. Then it happens. The barista who took our order walks past our table tray in hand. She glances at Ethan, does a double take, and says brightly, Hey, Ethan. Back again? Same seat, right? She freezes a little too late. She didn't mean to out him. My stomach doesn't twist this time. I just tilt my head. Ethan's smile flickers. Must be someone else. She chuckles nervously. Oh, sorry. You just looked familiar. He shrugs and turns back to me. Weird, huh? Yeah, I say. Weird. I glance back at the CCTV dome. I wonder how many times he's been here, if she's been with him. The barista disappears behind the counter and Ethan picks at his toast like it suddenly got too hard to chew. I don't press. I let him drown in his own contradictions. Outside as we leave, he tries to hold my hand. I let him. The cafe glass reflects us as we pass his hand in mine, his eyes darting sideways. We look like a couple, but only in silhouette. Back at home, I head straight for the studio room, my sanctuary. I pretend to scroll through fabric samples while he goes upstairs to answer emails. 10 minutes later, Kara texts me. You still want to know? I hesitate. Then type, Not yet. I'm building the rest first. I don't want to just accuse him. I want him to bring the lie to me with both hands and expect me to thank him for it. Later that evening, Ethan emerges in pajama pants and a t-shirt, all casual intimacy. You good? He asks, plopping beside me on the couch. Totally. Brunch was nice, huh? Yeah. Unexpected familiarity, too. He stiffens slightly, then laughs. Yeah, that was weird. I lean my head against his shoulder. He relaxes. And that's how I know he still thinks I'm asleep. We look like a couple, but only in silhouette. The moment he stopped suspecting me was the moment I started documenting everything. The morning after the cafe, Ethan is quiet. He hovers in the kitchen longer than usual, pours his coffee slower, watches the toaster as if it's trying to confess something. I say nothing. Let the silence sit between us like another person in the room, one neither of us invited, but both of us are too afraid to ask to leave. He finally breaks it. You seemed off yesterday. I look up from my tea. Did I? He nods cautious. Was it something I said? I smile gently. You say a lot of things, Ethan. I'm just trying to figure out which version is the real one. He doesn't respond. Just drinks his coffee like it might hide him. By mid-morning, I've retreated into my studio sketching variations of a nursery layout a client asked for, even though she hasn't decided whether to have kids yet. She said she wanted options, so I give her space. Gentle lines, folded corners, flexible lighting. It hits me then how much of my life has been designed around someone else's uncertainty. The scarf still rests on my vanity untouched since I first unfolded it. I stare at it now, then open my laptop and do a quick reverse image search. Within seconds, I find the same design listed on a boutique Parisian site under the label Les Heures Retournées. Price $400. It was never about the money. But the luxury confirms something else. This wasn't a last-minute apology gift. It was planned. I close the laptop. It's time to shift from noticing to acting. That afternoon, I tell Ethan I need to pick up new sketches from the print shop across town. He offers to drive. I decline. Instead, I detour. Not to the shop, but back to the cafe. Same place. Same barista. She sees me and freezes. I walk up to the counter and smile. Can I ask you something? I say quietly. She looks around. Sure. Was he here before this week? Her lips part then shut again. A quick war wages behind her eyes. I lean in slightly. You said, see you next weekend. That doesn't come from a first-time order. She swallows. Look, I don't want to get involved in anything. I'm not asking for a novel. Just the truth. She pauses, then nods. Yeah, she says softly. Couple of times. Maybe 3. Always sat in the same booth near the back. Alone. She hesitates. No. Did you see who he was with? She nods again, reluctant. Brunette. Kinda tall. Pretty. Always had her phone out. I nod. Thank you. She glances toward the CCTV dome in the corner. It records everything you know. I figured. She lowers her voice. I'm not supposed to, but I can tell the manager to save the last week's footage. Just in case. That would be helpful. She nods. We don't exchange names. We don't need to. As I step out into the bright afternoon light, I feel the first edge of clarity cut through. At home, Ethan's in the garage, polishing the hood of his car like it holds answers. I walk past him into the house up to my studio. I pull out the red notebook and jot one line. Truth doesn't whisper, it waits for the exact moment to shout. Then I tape the Rosecliff Resort laundry tag to the page. Under it, I glue a small printout of the scarf listing. Next to it, I paste a screenshot of the boutique's checkout confirmation just to make it real. I'm not a collector of pain. I'm an archivist of patterns. Later that evening, Ethan suggests watching a movie. I say yes. He chooses something light, an old comedy we've both seen. Midway through, he laughs too loud at the wrong moment. Glances at me, searching. I smile back, kind detached. After the credits roll, he turns to me. You've been distant. I've been watching, I say. There's a difference. He furrows his brow. Watching what you. He swallows. I stand. Do you ever wonder what your lies sound like from someone else's mouth? I haven't lied to you. I tilt my head. That's the first lie tonight. He opens his mouth, closes it. I walk to the kitchen and pour a glass of water, slow and steady. He follows me. What do you want me to say? Nothing. That's not fair. No. I interrupt. It's not, but it's accurate. He steps back. I take my glass and head to the bedroom, closing the door without slamming it. Clean lines. No drama, just structure. I'm not a collector of pain. I'm an archivist of patterns. He still thinks he's controlling the story, but I've started keeping my own record. I don't go looking for it. It finds me. Wednesday morning. Ethan leaves early under the pretense of a meeting with a luxury auto supplier downtown. His suit is just slightly too crisp, his tie knotted with more precision than usual. I watch him from the porch as he backs out Bluetooth, already in his ear voice pitched for confidence. The door clicks behind me and I return to the quiet house. I don't plan to snoop. Not really. But the second I start folding the laundry from his trip, I notice the weight of something inside his jacket pocket, too firm to be keys, too sharp for loose change. I reach in, and there it is, an envelope. Heavy stock paper. No return address. Inside, folded neatly into thirds, is an itemized invoice printed on Rosecliff Resort letterhead. Rosecliff Resort client, Ethan Halston, room 412 check-in, April 9th, check-out April 12th. Total nights 3, guests 2. Total $1,847, 22 room service. Champagne brunch, X2 spa access, Serenity couples package. Cabana reservation, poolside April 10, room bar refill fee, 2x late, checkout charge payment method Amex. Ending in 2281. I set the paper down slowly as if it might scream. There's no ambiguity, no wiggle room. This isn't a receipt for a solo business trip. This isn't something that can be explained away with a tight smile and a half answer. This is proof. Hard legal time-stamped, and he left it in his pocket. Part of me wonders if he wanted to be caught. The other part knows he's gotten this careless because I've made him feel safe. Too safe. I copy the invoice scan print and slide the duplicate into my red notebook behind the boutique scarf page. I highlight the spa entry, then underline the guest 2 line. The original goes back in the jacket precisely where I found it. I don't want to give him reason to panic yet. That evening, we eat dinner in front of the TV. He talks about some annoying coworker who botched a dealership handoff. I pretend to care. Sounds stressful, I say. Yeah. People just don't take responsibility anymore. The irony doesn't even crack him. Did you get any time to relax on the trip? He glances up just slightly. Not really. No massage? He hesitates. Nah. Too busy. I bite my cheek. Serenity couples package says otherwise, but I nod, letting the silence return. Later, while he's in the shower, I pull up our shared cloud drive. There's a folder we created years ago for work expenses back when I helped run his scheduling as he built his career. He forgot I still had access. Inside Amex statement PDFs. I scroll to April. There it is again. April 10, Rosecliff Resort, $1, $847.22, and underneath a familiar name, Decalé Boutique, $410. The scarf. My stomach clenches not from betrayal, but from validation. He's not just cheating. He's spending from the account we built together, using the card I once paid off when he was between jobs, gifting another woman my silence in material form. I download the statement, slide it into the red notebook. Next to it, I write, every line item is a sentence in a confession. He comes to bed that night smelling like cedarwood and mouthwash. I'm turned away facing the window. You asleep? He whispers. No. A beat. You seemed quiet today. just tired. You okay? I pause. Are you? He freezes behind me, then laughs softly, nervously. Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? I let the question hang, let it float in the air between us like static before a lightning strike. He doesn't ask anything else, and I don't offer answers. I wake before him the next morning. My body moves on instinct, robe, kettle, notebook, pen. I write across the top of a clean page, evidence number 1 resort invoice plus Amex trail. Then underline it twice. At the bottom, I add, he's building a lie with receipts. I'm just following the architecture. Every line item is a sentence in a confession. He handed me the truth folded into thirds. I just had to open it. I don't ask right away. That would be too easy, too expected. And Ethan is the kind of man who lies best when he's prepared. So I wait until Sunday. We're having coffee on the back deck. The weather's warm enough that I can wear just a cardigan. He's scrolling through his phone like he's checking sports scores, but I know the difference between casual interest and strategic distraction. His shoulders are too still. His thumb stops just slightly when I speak. I was thinking, I say, stirring my tea, we should take a trip. He looks up. A trip? Yeah. A reset. You've been working non-stop. He studies me. Where'd you have in mind? I shrug. Maybe something coastal. Something with a spa. His expression flickers barely. Spa, huh? He repeats. Sure. I mean, you seem to enjoy it at Rosecliff. The silence sharpens. What? The Serenity couple's package. I say tone light like I'm reading a Yelp review. That one right? His cup pauses halfway to his lips. He covers quickly. I told you, I didn't have time for... You said that, I interrupt gently. You also said you stayed at the Peninsula. He stares at me, blinking. So now I'm confused, I continue. Because I called the Peninsula. You weren't there. But I have an invoice from Rosecliff. Room 412. 3 nights. 2 guests. Champagne brunch. Spa treatments. Same dates you were away. He sets the cup down a little too hard. You went through my stuff. No, I say evenly. I did laundry. You left it in your jacket. A flush rises up his neck. I reach into my notebook and slide the duplicate invoice onto the table. Just 1 sheet, not a stack, not a confrontation, a quiet mirror. Who's Kelsey, I ask. He exhales, not loudly, not dramatically, just releases the lie he's been holding in his chest like a lung full of helium. She's someone I met at a supplier event. Must have been a thorough meeting. You ordered cabanas. Mia. I hold up a hand. Don't insult me. Not today. He rubs his face. His fingers shake. I didn't plan it. I swear. I look down at the invoice. Spa appointments require advance booking. So does late checkout. So do cabana reservations. So I'm having a hard time with the word accident. He says nothing. I add more softly. Now I'm not angry, Ethan. Not really. He looks up startled. I'm not even heartbroken, I continue, because I think I stopped expecting honesty from you a long time ago. I just didn't want to admit it. He lowers his eyes. I guess I just wanted to see how far you'd go. I whisper, to know whether the man I loved still had any truth left in him. He looks like he might cry, but no tears come. I never meant to hurt you, he says, voice tight. No, I reply. You meant to get away with it. He flinches. Then I lean back, fold my hands. I've been thinking about something lately, I say. He waits. That line. It's not lying if you smile while doing it. I used to believe that. I used to believe smiles were proof of safety. He's frozen now, caught between defense and apology. But I've realized something, I say. I lean forward. The truth didn't hurt me. The pretending did. He drops his gaze. I stand. I'm going out, I say, grabbing my keys. He doesn't ask where, because now he's the one afraid of the answer. I drive nowhere in particular, just enough to let the air shift. I stop at a park near the river, sit on a bench with my notebook, open to a clean page and begin sketching something new. A floor plan for a home with no shared closet. 2 bedrooms, no guest towels. A space for solitude, not for secrets. I stay there for hours, letting the sun move across the sky like a slow revelation. When I finally head home, the lights are off. His car is still in the driveway, but the house feels like it's already halfway empty. He's not in the kitchen, not on the couch. I find him in the bedroom, sitting on the edge of the bed, his hands folded in his lap like a schoolboy waiting for a punishment that's long overdue. He doesn't speak, and neither do I, because the damage isn't fresh anymore. It's just finely visible. The truth didn't hurt me. The pretending did. He confessed only what I already knew because that's all he thought he had to lose. The next morning, Kara sends the message with no preamble, just a link and a timestamp. She tagged him. I don't even have to ask who. I click. Instagram. Story highlight. A sun-soaked boomerang clip saved in a folder called Weekend Bliss. Kelsey. Her account is public. Her hair's damp. She's reclining in a pool chair with a mimosa in hand. Her phone tilts toward Ethan, who's knee-deep in the pool, laughing eyes squinting in the sun. She pans the camera slowly. Her arm, the same arm I saw in the invoice noted under spa package, stretches out and lands on his chest. They toast. The tag hovers on the screen, at Ethan. Halston. Dejars Rosecliff. Retreat. Couples. Escape. The date stamp, April 10th. I watch it again, and again. It's not graphic. It's not vulgar. But it's undeniable. I screenshot the story and save it. Then I take a second screenshot, this one of the highlight folder name. Weekend Bliss. It's the kind of name you give a getaway that means something. Not a business trip. Not a mistake. I sit in the studio with the lights off, the blinds cracked just enough to slice the room into neat shadows. My red notebook is open on the desk beside me. I slide in the screenshots, then right above them in black ink, evidence number 2, public witness. Digital proof. She wanted to be seen. He didn't stop her. I tape a third image, Kelsey's account bio. Creative consultant. Visual storyteller. Lover of light plus lavender. I underline the last line. Hard. She isn't hiding. He just assumed I wasn't looking. That night, I don't say anything when Ethan asks if I want to watch a movie. I say sure, and sit beside him close enough to smell the citrus cologne again, the one I didn't buy. The film plays. He makes a few comments, but I barely hear them. I'm watching him, watching how he tries too hard to be relaxed, how his hand twitches when I glance at his phone, how he avoids full eye contact like he's afraid of what I already know. Eventually he notices. You're quiet again, he says. I'm just thinking. About what I turn and look at him fully. about how people lie even when the evidence is framed, time-stamped, and public. He freezes. What I tilt my head. Do you think people lie because they still believe they won't get caught? He blinks. What are you talking about? I reach for my phone and slide it across the couch cushion toward him. The screenshot is open. Kelsey's arm, his chest. The tagged handle. The drink raised in a silent toast. He doesn't even pick it up. He just stares. You went through my phone, he whispers. No, I say. I went through hers. He closes his eyes. It's not what it looks like. I laugh soft and hollow. Ethan, don't. She posted that without telling me? Then why didn't you ask her to take it down? Silence. You know how social she is, he mumbles. I know how public she is. And I know how careful you were trying to be. That's the difference. He doesn't deny it. Not anymore. He leans back and exhales like he's aged a decade in the last 60 seconds. I was lonely, he says. I nod. So was I. But I didn't betray you. He stares at me. There's no plea in his eyes now, just the dull recognition of a man who's finally seeing the ceiling of the hole he dug. You're not even angry, he says quietly. No, I reply. I'm cataloging. He frowns. What does that mean? I'm documenting, I say. That way when I walk away, I won't doubt myself. He's speechless. And I realize something else. He never thought I'd leave. Not because he thought I loved him too much, but because he assumed I loved myself too little. When he's gone to bed, I stay up and write in the notebook, across the page in sharp ink. He didn't lie out of malice. He lied out of muscle memory. Then on a fresh sheet, I begin the list of things to do. 1. Lock credit card accounts. 2. Confirm lawyer meeting with Kara's referral. 3. Retrieve spare key from guest room drawer. 4. Draft new floor plan for 1. I don't cry. There's nothing to grieve that wasn't already gone. He didn't lie out of malice. He lied out of muscle memory. Tomorrow, I stop keeping proof. I start packing instead. Ethan doesn't ask where I went the next morning. He's in the kitchen again sipping coffee like it's a shield, like the mug might protect him from the silence. I walk past him, phone in one hand, red notebook in the other. I don't speak. Neither does he. He knows. There's no more space to lie inside. The walls are lined with receipts. At 10:00 a.m., I meet Cara at her office. She slides a folder across the desk. Inside separation prep docs, property inventory sheets, a list of shared assets and liabilities, a checklist for passwords to change, account access to revoke. I feel oddly calm. Kara watches me closely. You sure? I nod. It's not a reaction. It's a resolution. We spend 2 hours going over the details: home equity, car title, financial accounts, digital subscriptions. All the things built quietly between two people who thought they'd always be on the same side. By noon, I've signed the first round of papers. Not divorce yet, but everything shy of it. I leave the office and sit in my car for 10 minutes staring at the dash. Then I call Ethan. He answers on the second ring. Yeah, I need you out of the house tonight. Silence. Mia. No arguments, I say. Just space. He breathes once deep and careful. Okay. I hang up before he can finish. When I return home, the house is quiet. His car is gone. I walk through each room with deliberate steps. The kitchen still clean. The studio still mine. The bedroom, no longer shared. I pack slowly, not out of hesitation, but respect. Respect for the woman I was when I moved in. Respect for the memories that weren't lies. And especially respect for the quiet voice inside me that I've ignored for too long. I fill one suitcase with essentials, one box with records and notebooks, one folder with printed evidence. Then I walk outside and sit on the porch until dusk. The wind smells like spring again, earth and lemon trees. I open the red notebook and flip through the pages. Every line, every item, every contradiction documented. I thought it would feel like closure, but it feels like clarity. At 8:23 p.m., Ethan texts, "I'm parked outside." I go to the door, open it slowly. He's standing at the edge of the walk, not moving toward me. I step outside and close the door behind me. He doesn't speak. I do. "I'm not staying here tonight." His jaw tightens. "Where will you go?" "I have options." A pause. "Are you really ending this?" I nod. "You ended it the second you started editing yourself." He closes his eyes. "It didn't mean anything. It meant you were somewhere else, while I was still here." He steps closer. "Please don't leave like this." I blink. There's no graceful way to leave a lie that tried to wear your name. He swallows hard. "I loved you," he says. Maybe I reply, "But I loved me more. Eventually." I walk past him. He turns as if to follow, but I stop and hold up one hand. I'm not asking for a fight. I'm asking for silence. He lets me pass. That's the last time I look at him. I drive to Kara's. She leaves the porch light on, doesn't hug me, just hands me a folded blanket and points toward the spare bedroom. Later, I lie awake staring at the ceiling, hearing my breath echo back like proof I'm still here, still whole. I don't cry. I write. Across a fresh page. Sometimes the collapse is not explosive. It's the quiet undoing of a home built on guesses. Then beneath it, I left nothing behind that wasn't already broken. There's no graceful way to leave a lie that tried to wear your name. He thought the silence would save him, but silence was the sound of me leaving. Kara leaves a mug of coffee outside the bedroom door before she heads to work. I wake to the faint smell of cinnamon and burnt espresso, and for a moment I pretend I'm just visiting, that my life isn't in the middle of being redrawn. But the red notebook on the nightstand doesn't let me forget. I flip it open. The pages feel heavier now, not from weight, but from meaning. I thumb to the last entry. He thought the silence would save him, but silence was the sound of me leaving. Today isn't about discovery, it's about delivery. At 10:05 a.m., I walk into the office of Ellen Marston, attorney at law. She's Kara's referral. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. She doesn't offer small talk. She offers results. We go through the basics. She scans the notebook without flinching. The receipts, the screenshots, the scanned Amex statements. You've done the work, she says. I had to. No one else was going to keep the record. We talk through logistics, property division options for mediation, timeline for separation. I leave with a folder of forms, a list of tasks, and a feeling I haven't known in months, momentum. By early afternoon, I drive back to the house. He's gone. I didn't ask where. I'm not there to argue. I'm there to retrieve the last piece of my autonomy. I walk through the house like I'm inspecting a museum, noticing things I once thought permanent, now obviously temporary. The print we bought in Santa Fe, the rug from his brother's wedding registry, the chipped mug I once said I loved, and he kept breaking anyway. I gather only what belongs to me. The rest I leave. On the kitchen counter, I place a sealed envelope. Inside, a note that reads simply, "This is the last version of me you'll have access to." A color copy of the Instagram screenshot, a duplicate of the Rosecliff invoice, and a photo of my red notebook's cover page edges bloomed like a story too full to close. I lock the door behind me, then drop my copy of the house key in the mailbox. At Kara's that evening, we sit on the floor and eat takeout like we did in college. Thai noodles, spring rolls, 2 beers sweating on paper coasters. "You sure you're okay?" she asks. "I'm tired," I say. "But it's the clean kind." She nods. "You still documenting?" I smile faintly. "Not tonight." "Why?" "Because tonight doesn't need a record. It's real enough without proof." Later, I step into the guest bathroom and catch my reflection. It's different now. Not hardened, not cold, but solid. Like someone who stopped rehearsing her lines and finally rewrote the script. Before bed, I open my laptop and start something new. A blank design document, new template, new client code. Working title. Architecture of the After. In the notes section, I type, "A space for reinvention. Open light closed history. Truth as foundation, not furniture." I close the file. Then sleep. And this time I dream. This is the last version of me you'll have access to. The lies ended with a receipt, but my next chapter starts without one. The letter comes 2 weeks later. It's not romantic, not apologetic, just typed on plain printer paper, tri-folded name, aligned perfectly at the top like a resume cover sheet. Ethan. He writes that he understands now, that he's been reflecting, that none of it was meant to become what it did, that the connection with Kelsey was brief, a mistake, something to fill a space. He uses the word regret 5 times, the word accountability once, the word sorry not at all. I don't finish reading it. I fold it in half, press it between the pages of the red notebook like a final exhibit. I don't even mark it as evidence. It's not worth the ink. Instead, I spend the morning reorganizing Kara's sunroom, turning it into a part-time workspace. I bring in soft light at a second-hand drafting table I found online. The floor creaks when I lean on it too hard. I don't mind. It's mine now. I sit with a sketch pad and draw the front facade of a home I haven't found yet. No columns, no matching porch lights, no symmetry for the sake of appearances. Instead, asymmetry, texture, honest angles. I label it quietly at the bottom of the page, first structure without compromise. That evening, I meet an old client for coffee, Vanessa, an author who once asked me to design a writing studio where nothing echoes unless it's worth hearing. She eyes me across the table. "You look lighter," she says. "I'm not," I reply. "I'm just carrying what's mine." We talk about her next book project, then linger on the topic of truth, how most people avoid it not because it's painful, but because it's permanent. "I read something once," she says, sipping her tea. "That truth doesn't free you. It finishes you." I smile. Maybe, but sometimes finishing something is exactly what sets you loose. We part with a hug that lingers 1 second longer than necessary. It feels good to be seen again without translation. I walk home under a sky cracked with lavender and steel. The clouds shift like slow-moving continents. I breathe deeper. There's no destination now, only direction. Kara left dinner on the stove lentils and roasted carrots with lemon zest. A sticky note on the fridge reads, "You're doing it. Proud of you." I press it into my notebook next to the final sketch. Then I write, I don't need a witness anymore. Just windows. I sleep early and dream clean. 2 days later, a message arrives. From Kelsey. It's short. I didn't know he was married. I thought you should hear that from me even if it's too late. I'm sorry. No defense. No denial. Just a single truth laid bare. I don't respond. Not because I'm bitter, but because I have nothing left to protect and nothing left to reclaim. This chapter never belonged to her. It belonged to the silence I stayed in too long. At the end of the week, I sign the papers, separation agreement, financial disclosures, release of shared property rights. Ethan doesn't show. His lawyer handles it. I don't feel triumphant. I feel accurate. In the waiting room, I reread my favorite page of the red notebook. He didn't lie out of malice. He lied out of muscle memory. And underneath it, I stopped flinching when I realized I didn't cause the bruise. Later, I drive to a listing. I found small craftsman cottage aged wood, 1-bedroom overgrown hydrangeas crowding the walkway. I step through the threshold and run my hand over the chipped banister. Dust floats in golden light. It smells like absence, but also possibility. I close my eyes and picture the red notebook on the kitchen counter. Then I imagine burning it. Not in rage, but in ritual. Because the archive is done. The story is no longer evidence. It's just memory now. I stopped flinching when I realized I didn't cause the bruise. My story doesn't end in ruin. It begins in a room no one else ever lied in. I visit the cottage again on a Sunday morning. The sky is pale gold, the kind that holds a promise without making it loud. The kind of light you notice more when you're not waiting for anyone to notice you. I bring only my sketch pad and a thermos of coffee. No keys, no checklist, no Ethan. The owner leaves the back door unlocked for the showing. I step inside and let the stillness greet me. The rooms are bare, walls marked with the outlines of frames long removed, a few nail holes, a scratch near the hallway where a dog must have once pawed for attention. The place feels honest, not curated, not pretending to be more than it is. I stand in the center of the living room and close my eyes. I picture the layout: a bookshelf under the window, a reading chair that doesn't match anything, light linen curtains that sway even when the breeze is shy, a small table with only one chair enough. I kneel, place the sketch pad on the hardwood, and begin to draw. No symmetry, no apology, no accommodations for someone who might leave, only design for someone who's finally staying. After an hour, I pack up. I leave the sketch on the floor like a whisper I'm letting the house overhear. It will wait. If it's meant for me, it will still be here. I don't need a witness, but I think I've earned a quiet co-conspirator. Back at Kara's, she's folding laundry on the floor and watching reruns of some legal drama. She doesn't ask how the cottage went, she just pats the couch. Want to help me sort socks? I do. Because some kinds of love don't betray you. They hand you warm cotton and don't ask for context. We sit like that for hours, folding, laughing, saying nothing and everything. That night, I take the red notebook off the nightstand. I flip to the last page. There's still room for one more line. I write, I was never broken. I was just building. Then I walk to the backyard and strike a match. The notebook catches faster than I expect. I let it go without blinking, without ceremony. The fire curls the edges of each page, turns ink to smoke, turns pain to air. It isn't about forgetting, it's about releasing. Weeks pass. I make a deposit on the cottage. I start drawing again, not for clients, not for approval, but for myself. The kinds of sketches I used to do when I first fell in love with space and color and the permission of beauty. I spend afternoons on the porch with tea, designing without deadlines. I plant a basil pot. I relearn what quiet actually sounds like. Ethan doesn't call. I don't expect him to. Kelsey never messages again. I don't wonder what happened there. I don't need to. The story was never about them. It was about the silence I ignored. Then the silence I finally chose. Then the silence that became peace. One evening, I sit under the open sky with my sketch pad. A new page. Blank. No red ink. No evidence to attach. Just possibility. I draw a house with open walls. No secrets. No storage for lies. Only windows. Only light. I was never broken. I was just building. The story didn't end when he lied. It began when I stopped needing the truth to come from him.